May 5th. Last day budgeted, but Kansas legislature slogs on. Three's a crowd. David Haley announces run for U.S. Senate. Not so sure. Roberts questions Geithner on bank reform. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm R.J. Dickens. It's 73 degrees at Studio 43 in the Douglas Design District. Here's what you'll be talking about this afternoon. With today being the last day budgeted for the 2010 Kansas legislature, 27 of the state's 165 state representatives and senators have offered to give up their pay for the balance of their time in Topeka. Leaders hope to have the session wrapped up by Sunday at an additional cost of taxpayers of $80,000 a day. A proposal to hike state cigarette taxes appears to be dead. Topeka television station KTKA quotes Kansas Governor Mark Parkinson as saying that pressure from legislators from districts along the Kansas-Missouri border, citing pressure from merchants, killed the bill out of fears that a hike would send a flood of smokers into Missouri, which has the nation's lowest cigarette tax at just 17 cents a pack. Parkinson told the station he thought it was regrettable that such an archaic state law in another state could affect public policy in Kansas. This morning, the Kansas House, on a 75-45 vote, turned down a proposed budget written by conservative Republican leaders that would have cut education spending by another $86 million. The field for the Democratic nomination for the U.S. Senate has drawn one of its biggest crowds in over 40 years. State Senator David Haley of Kansas City threw his hat into the ring this morning, joining Johnson County businessman Charles Schollenberger and Baker University Administrator Lisa Johnston. Haley, the nephew of Roots author Alex Haley and a former Republican, says he's never in the legislature and that he's running because Kansans prefer moderate Democrats to conservative Republicans, calling the current Republican primary between Congressman Todd Tiahrt and Jerry Moran a contest to see who can be the most outrageously conservative. Also running in the GOP primary is former Kansas Attorney General Robert Londerholm. Kansas U.S. Senator Pat Roberts says he's afraid financial reform legislation could hurt consumers and small businesses. During testimony yesterday from Secretary of the Treasury Timothy Geithner, Roberts asked if a proposed tax on big banks would remove up to $1 trillion from lending. Roberts also says he's concerned about transparency in the bill. It's 72 degrees at Wichita's Mid-Continent Airport. Taking a look at current conditions. Winds are from the north-northeast at 13 miles per hour. Relative humidity is 30%. The barometric pressure is 29.92 inches. This afternoon, sunny, highs in the mid-70s. North winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear. Lows near 50. East winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. And your 43-hour forecast, winds shift to the east overnight, temperatures back up into the 80s tomorrow, clouds and winds return on Friday.
Got your tax refund from last year? I'm Stacy Johnson. Let's convert that refund into a tax credit for 2010 and make some cool improvements around the house. I'll explain coming up on Money Talks News.
If you haven't already spent your tax refund from last year, here's an idea. Convert that tax refund into a tax credit for next year to improve your home in the process. Money reporter Stacy Johnson has the details.
Spend your 2009 tax refund yet? If not, here's an convert it into a tax credit for next year by buying something like a high-efficiency air conditioner. For the rest of this year, you can get a tax credit of 30% of the cost of some doors and windows, insulation, air conditioners, furnaces, heat pumps, and boilers up to $1,500. Now this is all over in December. The $1,500 credit is lifetime. In other words, it's $1,500 total, not annually, and you have to buy energy efficient stuff. Take this new high efficiency air conditioner for example. Total cost $5,000, but after the tax credit, it's only $3,500. Remember, a tax credit is a dollar for dollar reduction in the money you owe. And you don't have to spend a bundle to get the credit. You can buy simple things, like certain types of insulation. But in these cases, only the material and not the labor qualifies for the credit. And you can get even bigger credits for going solar or wind energy. A 30% tax credit, but with no limit. And this credit doesn't expire this through 2016. Bottom line, if you've got a tax refund or some other cash laying around and you need some energy efficient home improvements, now's a great time to act. Be sure to do it though before year end. And if you need more information like what qualifies for the credit, I've got it. It's right at moneytalksnews.com. I'm Stacy Johnson.
On Wall Street, stocks are fluctuating a day after major indexes posted their biggest loss in months. The Dow and S&P 500 recently poked into positive territory, but the pair has since returned to the red. Here's a look at Wall Street as of 1 Eastern. Back with more after this. Stay tuned. We'll have a look at some web video right after this.